Good afternoon. Welcome to our afternoon Facebook Live. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name's Jenny McCormack from Gemini Crafts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the market town of Brackley in Northamptonshire in England. This afternoon I thought we would do some more work with, or fun I should say, with the Freezin Fun stamp set and the matching dies. I featured them briefly yesterday. Hi Molly. When I made these two cards, just this one and this one. And yesterday I was only doing some plain straightforward stamping, but I used the die that created this stitched line. I cut the patterned paper and the white card at the same time, and then I switched over the panels to create these two cards. So although I have used the dies for that, you could very easily just take a pair of scissors or a craft knife and create a wavy line in your card. What I would recommend is, if you want to change the layers with different pieces, that you cut them both at the same time so that these match up together. Alternatively, you could have obviously a cut layer sat on top of a full layer of background paper. Entirely up to you. So what I thought we would do today is something similar, but build up the scene by stamping and then using the dies to cut out the characters. So what I'm going to start with is my background scene. So what I've got is 2 sheets of Whisper White thin card, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the die over these just to create some different layers at different angles, so I can then build up my design. So let me pop that to one side and these to one side, give us some space. Hi Molly, I hope you're well. I saw Doreen about 10 minutes ago, so she said she'd seen you, so that's always nice. Okay, so let me grab this die here. So this is a great curly die, and this is perfect for scenery of any kind, because you've got the stitching, which is quite good fun, and you've got a nice curve. And what I do like about it is it reaches right the way across a card. This is actually card size, so that's the full width of a card. This one here is a smaller layer, so obviously it cut across there, no problem at all. So I'm going to bring up my die cutting machine. So this is our new one. Let me just move this over. I can't wait till we have the little one, and then it'll be a lot easier to have up on the table to show you. So I've just got a basic layer there, and I'm going to take my 2 pieces of card like so, and I know this is a little bit out of sight. Make sure I don't lose those stamps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut across here at some different angles, so I'm going to end up with lots of different layers that I can use. So Facebook has just kicked me out, bizarrely, but I think we'll be okay. The main system is going, it's just this secondary machine that I use for looking at is the one that tends to kick me out. Okay, let us see how we get on. Okay, so I'm just going to put that through, put my top layer on there and run that through. I'm sorry, it's a bit of a weird angle. So there's one. Like so. So I basically got some different ridges and things like that, and I've got that one there. So what I'm going to do is do another one here, and also you can have this going either way, and let's do this at more of an angle, like so, so it's got a steeper slope. Now when you are cutting these, because of the stitching, there will be a right and a wrong side, so just bear that in mind. There we go. Let's put those out of the way for the minute. Pop that out of the way. Make sure not to lose my die in the meantime. So what that has given me is a whole series of ski slopes basically, going one way and the other way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build up my scene using some of these, and I'm actually going to place it on a piece of pattern paper. Hi Jean. Here it is. Because what I'm thinking, let me show you my thought process. It's quite dangerous, isn't it? But there we go. As this is my base card, this is going to be my sky, which obviously I can cut down further if I don't want to waste this paper, and then I can basically build some layers here of slopes going whichever way I want them to. Okay, so that's my theory, and I can have them going that way and all sorts. It's going to be a case of playing with these. Now obviously you don't have to have this as an outside layer if you don't want to. You can have just straight onto a blue card if you wanted it for the sky, but I love this paper. It looks like a, you know, just a stormy snowy winter's day. So what I can do to make the most of this piece in particular is cut it along the middle so that this turns into two pieces, and I can do the same with this one. So I've probably got many more pieces than I actually need, but hey ho. So what I'm going to do is just cut that, and I might actually do it to sort of one side. Oops. So I've got a little bit of height on one rather than cut it straight down the middle. And the only reason I'm cutting it is really to get more out of these pieces of card, so you've got more layers. Okay, so this is going to be my base piece, and then I could have, so this hasn't been cut down to size, but that's fine. So I could have one from the top, one from here, like that, and then another one like so. Or I could have a more, let's see, that's the same as that one, isn't it? That's similar to that one. And obviously you could angle these as well, so you could cut these longer and angle them even you know, sharper like that if you wanted to. Because I'm working on a fairly small card, I don't want to do that. So let's have a look. What I'm going to do is start, I think, by with another layer that I'm going to stick these onto and then put them onto my card. That's what I'm going to do. So, okay. Only so that I can tidy everything up. So let me see what those dimensions are. So if I cut this down to the card size that I'm going to use, that will be perfect. So I'm going to have this at 14.35 and this should be 10. Yep, give or take. That's 10. Okay, so I'm going to work everything to this base piece, and this is what's going to be attached to my card at the end. So in order to save some of this paper, I'm actually going to cut this in half so that I could make 2. And if I was doing this, I would probably make you know, 2 or more at a time. This is 3 1/4. Let's make that slightly bigger. So it's one of those that you can just basically have some fun with. Okay, so this is going to be my sky piece, and I think then I'm going to have this, then I want one like so, and then I want another going that way, if that makes sense, like so. So I basically got some layers, and then what I'm going to do is stamp and die cut the characters to go on the ski slopes. I hope that makes some sense. So let's put these down. Let me just see. So because I've cut these quite narrow, what you need to watch is that these are properly overlapping. You could cut all of them, you know, like half a width in, but then you'll end up with a lot of bulk. So these are ready for another one. So I didn't really need that many, did I? Okay, so I'm going to just fold these out. 2, 3. I'm going to stick this down and then trim it after. And I've got my seal, which I know is about to run out, so I've got a replacement to show you how to refill. Oops. Okay. So I'm going to pop that on there. There we go. I'm just going to trim that bit off actually now. So I'm just putting the scissors against the edge of the card so you don't cut into it by mistake, but you could easily just use your trimmer for that. And then there's one. I just want to make sure that I've got these roughly in position so there's no gaps. Like so. Perfect. So let's do that one roughly there. I'm just going to mark that with actually a pen, but it would normally be a pencil, just so that don't end up with any small gaps. There we go. Okay, so that's going to go onto there. Like so. That's going to be my next one, and again I'm just checking that I've only got a little area for that to sit on, so I'm happy about that, and I'm quite happy if this comes up over that one as well. So the main thing is that you position your top one first, but knowing that you're going to cover the rest of the section up, if that makes sense. Okay, and then this one here, like so. And obviously you could make, you know, as many of these layers as you wished. You could also put some of them up on dimensionals to give them some height, and you can have things then tucked in behind. For this one I'm just going to keep it flat because I'm going to have my characters up on dimensionals. So here's my sky, here's my snowy mountains, or my ski slopes. So I can chop those all off in one. There we go. And I love the trimmer, it's so good at cutting right through that. Okay. So it says Molly and Jean are watching, but there's some others of you hidden in the background. If you want to come on and say hi, then please do. Always lovely to hear from you. So this scene is going to go onto my card like so. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is stamp out my characters and then cut them up. What I tend to do is if I've got spare pieces like this that go with the set, I will pop them in with the stamp set or in with the dies so that they're in the right place next time. There's no good me putting it in a safe place because I'll never find it again. If you have one of those, you'll know exactly what I mean. So just let's stamp some characters. I haven't decided which ones I'm going to use, so what I'm going to do is stamp them all out and die cut them, and then we can play around and see which ones we want. Bye, Pauline. Thank you for saying hi. I hope you're keeping well. So here we've got the fun rabbit on skis, and then I've got the seal, and then I've got the raccoon or the fox on the sledge, and then the little penguin. Now this set has also got Christmas trees, or trees I should say, snow covered trees, an ice floe here. This could be a snowboard, and then sweet little sentiments here, snowflakes, snowballs. So let's pop these out. That's the penguin. Just release that. Sorry, these haven't got stickers on, these ones, labels. Because I knew I was die cutting them, I wasn't too fussed where they were going to end up. Okay, so those are my 4 characters. So I'm just going to die cut those out. So let me trim this piece of card down. Obviously, if you're happy to fussy cut, which is to cut round those with a pair of scissors, that's absolutely fine. Okay. Let's bring up the machine again. As I say, sorry, it's rather taking up all of the space. Right. So let's pop these on. Now we do have a magnetic plate. So I'm going to use that in place of one, because this will hold the dies nicely. And if you had our previous Big Shot machine, then you'll know that these dies used to whiz around quite a lot. But on this magnetic sheet, if I turn it over, it's magnetic right the way across, so it's just a huge magnet. And not as strong as the other one, but strong enough to hold the dies, that's the main thing. So it means that these won't move around. Like so. Here's the rabbit with the sledge. Cute. Now normally what I would do is colour these in before I cut them out. But because I know I'm not going to use all of them, but I don't know which ones I'm going to use, I'm going to die cut them and then just colour them, colour the ones that I want. But normally I would recommend colouring before die cutting, because you've got more of a surface to hold on to, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm just going to whisk this through. Sorry it's in the shadow a little bit, and it's also uneven on my table, for which I apologise. There we go. Hello Claire, how lovely to see you, or have you join us I should say. Haven't caught up with you for ages it seems. I know we've all just been so busy, but I hope you're well and that Mattie's well. There we go. So you can see the benefit of having a magnetic plate, because it keeps everything in place. And also, when you're not using your dies, you can leave them on there because they'll be safe and not lose them like I've done. Okay, so let's have a look at our scene. This is our scene which is going to go on to here, and I haven't got a really strong slope here, have I? But we could have our rabbit here, and I could cut out the snowboard with the penguin here coming down that way. Be quite good fun, wouldn't it? I think I'm just going to have those two. Could swap those out. Just thought I'd use something different. So let me just do the snowboard. Oh good, Claire don't think so, okay. And obviously you could add onto this the trees. You could stamp trees in the background, so you could really make this quite a wow Christmas card. Or, you know, fun winter card. Doesn't necessarily have to be Christmas. So I'm just going to stamp that. On my spare piece of card, which is here. There we go. There. Now I'm going to die cut that because it's got nice curves, which is I always find really hard when I'm fussy cutting. So I'm just going to die cut that like so, but just off the picture. There's no point bringing that in just for that. So bear with me 1 second. Let me bring this up out of the way. So I can't believe that we're at Friday already, ladies, and that it's October next week. It didn't even seem possible, really, did it? That's for sure. Okay, so bear with me while I just die cut this out. And the only problem with new plastic plates is they're so clear you can't actually see them. Sorry. Okay, so here's his snowboard. So he could actually be up in the air, of course, but I haven't got much space on there, so I think can't have him like that. It's coming down from that side there. Okay, and I'm going to stamp a sentiment, I think, across the bottom. So let me do that, and then we can just do some colouring in. I'm going to have life's better when we're having fun together, especially as there's 2 characters in there. The other thing that would be nice would be to put any of these layers through an embossing folder to give it some texture. Oh, it does, Pauline, doesn't it? So you could use the subtle one, you could use the snowflake one. Lots of different things you could do to give this texture. Right, just going to stamp on the back of this one, just as a practice, really. Yep, that's fine. Let me just make sure that's my error here. Probably just didn't ink it up properly. Yep, that's good. So I'm going to pop this sort of in the middle for the 2 characters. There we go. Life's better when we're having fun together. Cute. Okay, so let's do a little bit of colouring in for these characters and for the snowboard. So I'm just going to do a little bit of crumb cake for the snowboard, and I have all the colours ready. Now I can't see them. It's because they're underneath my die cutting machine. Dear, you can tell it's Friday, can't you? So, just seeing which bits there we have. A little front bit, so. Obviously you could colour these in bright colours if you wished. I've just got the two, one skid, like so. And just do this little bit here. And then it's going to have a funky scarf. I think this one's going to have a yellow scarf, I've decided. So, although it should be something bright red or something, shouldn't it? But this will do. So this is light so saffron, just a pale yellow. Might be a little bit too pale. Has your class in a box arrived with you, Pauline? I know Molly's got hers. Okay, and then penguins are sort of brown, grey and black, aren't they, and white. So I'm going to do these bits in a grey, and then pumpkin pie or something orange for their feet. Not quite sure what colours these are. Funny, isn't it? You know they're black and white. It's just hard to picture which bits are which, isn't it? Well, it is for me, I should say. There we go. Huh? Oh, not yet. Oh, I hope so for tomorrow. They did go slightly later than I intended, so they should all be out. Hopefully with you tomorrow. So there's his beak, and this is certainly not a colouring tuition lesson, because I'm literally just colouring it in. I'm not doing any shading or anything, just playing with those fun characters really. Okay. And then let's have him a sort of grey colour. And a stripy tail. That's one, and that one. It's probably the wrong way round. It probably has to be the other way, doesn't it? But I know you'll forgive me. These are great stamps for family cards, aren't they, or children's cards really. There we go. There. Oop. That's his arm. Then he's going to have a coloured scarf as well. His tummy in there. going to go Poppy Parade, bright red, a bright red scarf for this one, and bobble hat. So as I say, if I was doing this, I would stamp all the characters first. Sorry, there's a tiny bit of fluff on there. And colour them in, and then die cut them, because you haven't got much to hold on to, and then this tends to move around if you're not careful. There we go. Oh, stay here. There we are. So I've got my snowboard, my penguin, and my raccoon. Okay, let's pop this onto here before I lay my characters down. And because I cut this down a little bit, I'm just going to trim the edge of this card. Lift it up with my finger. So, for those of you that are with me for the class in a box, I do have an online class tomorrow, which you have the link for. So I shall be busy crafting between 2 and 4 tomorrow. I don't know what everybody else is up to this weekend. I hope it's something nice. And that you're not too locked down by the new restrictions that we have. Okay. So there's my scene. As I say, you could do lots of things with this. Certainly using the subtle embossing folder and having the snow going that way on one and that way on another would be very clever. So I think I had him here, and so he doesn't have to be on top of the slope, does he? Him here, like that. Okay, I'm going to pop these up on dimensionals. So the stamp set is called Freezin with an apostrophe Fun. I like the sentiment that you could use that for lots of other things, couldn't you? Working in the morning. Oh, coffee with Linda. Perfect. And hopefully joining me later. Brilliant, Pauline. That would be lovely. And even if your kit hasn't arrived, you can still join me for the nattering and everything. Please, if you want to. I am doing some additional cards, which I mentioned in the videos. So I'll be doing a window card for one. Working with some vellum for the floating front card. So yeah, things to do. So that would be nice. That'd be nice just to you know, chat and listen to your voice and have some company. And you can pop in at any time between 2 and 4, so you don't have to be there for the whole session. No, it's got to be that way, isn't it, really, because of the shade. There we go. And I'm just going to put a little piece on here, just so it doesn't bend up on the card, really. So you've got somebody heavy-handed that opens it. So I've just put an odd little piece on there on his scarf or her scarf. There we go. Like so. And then you could add onto that the snowballs or the trees, but I quite like it exactly as it is. I'm quite happy with that as a design. So there we go. So those are ready for another card. I've got the little seal that can go in the water on the ice floes, and another rabbit on skis. So this was yesterday's too. I'm going to add some of those lovely sequins. I do like these, and you've got your extra sequins and stuff, Pauline, in your box, so you'll be right away. Go. One more. There we have it. So built up more of a scene compared to yesterday's one with just with a single character, but using the same sort of layout and design, cutting various ones of these and then putting them together. And as I say, I've got plenty here. So by taking a strip and then just cutting it different ways, I've got enough here for another card, like so. You could even have a further layer. And you can angle this much more than I have done. So you could do literally a really sharp, steep slope. That would be quite good fun too. Okay, thank you so much everybody for joining me this afternoon. I hope you're all well. I hope you're bathed in sunshine, even though it is rather breezy here. I hope you have a nice weekend. I hope to see some of you for my Class in a Box class tomorrow afternoon. And failing that, I will be back on Monday morning at 10 AM for my next Facebook Live. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Take care and look after yourselves. Look after each other. And I hope you can keep crafting. Thank you. Bye-bye.